The round of 16 is here, and after the chaos we just survived, nobody is safe. Late goals, penalty shootouts, heartbreak, miracles, this tournament refuses to calm down. 16 nations, 8 matches, 8 chances for history, disaster, or pure football madness. In this video, we're breaking down every single matchup, the storylines, the momentum, the danger, and the drama waiting to explode. Welcome to the round of 16.
Canada arrives in Houston knowing exactly what this challenge is. Morocco is one of the most stable, disciplined sides in this tournament, and their round of 32 performance proved it. They went toe-to-toe with the Netherlands for 120 minutes in sweltering Monterrey, created more shots, held more of the ball, and advanced on penalties. That effort came at a cost, though. 34 fewer hours of rest before kickoff, and a long travel day in between. Canada's path was different. A gritty 1-0 win over South Africa, built on pressure, pace, and just enough quality in the final third. But the passing numbers tell the story. 392 attempts, 82% accuracy. Against Morocco, that margin for error shrinks. This is a team that moves the ball quickly, attacks in waves, and leans heavily on Sofiane Rahimi, Ismail Salabari, and Neil El Ainaoui to generate shots. The last time these nations met was 2022, a 2-1 Morocco win that didn't reflect the gap in quality. But only 5 of Canada's starters from that match are still here. Morocco has changed too, returning 8 players from that squad. The distance between them today is smaller than it was then.
Canada's wings will matter. Tajon Buchanan and Liam Millar can stretch Morocco's shape, and if Jonathan David, Tani Oluwaseyi, or Promise David find space inside, chances will come. Getting Alphonso Davies close to a full shift would be massive, and defensively, having Moise Bombito back helps stabilize the backline. Maxime Crépeau will need one of his biggest games. Morocco is favored, but not overwhelmingly. And this World Cup has already reminded everyone that reputations don't guarantee results. Germany is out. Uruguay is out. The Netherlands are out. Canada is still here. Whatever happens in Houston, this run is historic. But sometimes what seems destined doesn't come to pass. Canada has closed big gaps before. They'll need to close another one today.
Paraguay and France meet on July 4th in a matchup nobody saw coming. France arrives with one mission: erase the sting of finishing runner-up in 2022. Paraguay arrives with something completely different: momentum, belief, and one of the most shocking results of the entire tournament. Their path here couldn't be more dramatic. Paraguay stunned Germany in a penalty shootout, eliminating a team many expected to challenge for the title. It wasn't luck, it was resilience, discipline, and a goalkeeper who refused to break. That win instantly became one of the defining upsets of this World Cup. France's qualification was the opposite story: calm, controlled, and dominant. They handled Sweden with ease, continuing a run where their attack has looked sharp, their midfield balanced, and their depth overwhelming. This is a team that expects to be here. Paraguay is a team that refuses to leave.
The contrast is what makes this matchup compelling. France brings firepower, experience, and knockout pedigree. Paraguay brings grit, defensive structure, and the confidence that comes from proving everyone wrong. One side is chasing redemption. The other is chasing the miracle they've already started. On July 4th, it's a clash of ambition versus belief. France is favored, but Paraguay has already shown that favorites can fall. And in a World Cup where giants have already been knocked out, nothing is guaranteed. This duel wasn't expected, but that's exactly why it might become unforgettable.
The round of 16 is heating up, and few matchups feel bigger than this one. Brazil and Norway, 2 teams with completely different football histories, collide July 5th at MetLife Stadium in what promises to be one of the most fascinating duels of the tournament. Both sides got here the hard way.
Brazil survived Japan thanks to a stoppage-time strike from Gabriel Martinelli, while Norway's Erling Haaland delivered late against Ivory Coast, scoring in the 86th minute to seal his nation's first-ever knockout win. Two dramatic finishes, two teams riding momentum into the next round. Brazil's pedigree speaks for itself. 5 World Cup titles, unmatched flair, and a fan base that expects nothing less than number 6. But it's been 24 years since their last triumph, and this squad looks determined to end that drought. Vinicius Jr. has been electric, Mateus Cunha clinical, and Casemiro steady in midfield. Statistically, they've been elite, 2.25 goals per game, 56% possession, and an 85% save rate, all signs of a team in control.
Norway, though, is no ordinary underdog. This is their first World Cup appearance since 1998, and they've made it count. Haaland's 5 goals have him chasing the Golden Boot, while Martin Odegaard and Patrick Berg have combined for 5 assists, driving Norway's attack with precision. They're averaging 2.5 goals per match, nearly matching Brazil's output, and they've shown they can hang with anyone. History adds another layer. Brazil has never beaten Norway. In 4 meetings, Norway holds 2 wins and 2 draws. That streak now meets the pressure of knockout football, where one moment can rewrite decades of history. It's power versus promise, legacy versus momentum, Brazil chasing redemption, Norway chasing belief. On July 5th, the world's eyes turn to MetLife Stadium, because this one feels destined to deliver something special.
Mexico and England meet in a matchup loaded with history, pressure, and 2 completely different football identities. England arrive with that familiar mix of expectation and anxiety, a squad stacked with talent, but a fan base that's never fully convinced the job will get done until the final whistle. Mexico, meanwhile, come in with nothing to fear and everything to prove, carrying the energy of a team that thrives the moment the stage gets bigger. From England's side, the formula is clear. Control the tempo, keep the ball moving, and let their stars dictate the rhythm. Their midfield has been one of the most reliable units in the tournament, and when they're clicking, England can suffocate opponents with long stretches of possession. But possession alone won't win this one. Mexico's counterattack is built for chaos, fast, direct, and ruthless. One bad turnover, one mistimed pass, and suddenly England are sprinting backwards, trying to contain a break that feels like it's happening at double speed.
Mexico's biggest advantage is their bravery. They press high, they challenge every touch, and they refuse to let big names intimidate them. They've already shown they can punch above their weight, and England know better than anyone that underestimating Mexico is a mistake that becomes a headline very quickly. The key battle might be psychological. England have been here before. Knockout pressure, tense moments, the weight of expectation. Mexico play with freedom, with emotion, with that why not us mentality that can flip a match on its head. If England settle early, they can dictate the match. If Mexico land the first punch, England could be dragged into exactly the kind of game they don't want. 2 nations, 2 football cultures, 1 massive clash. England chasing control, Mexico chasing the moment. And only one of them is walking out of this with their tournament still alive. The round of 16 delivers another massive showdown as the United States meet Belgium for the second time in their last 3 World Cups. Both teams arrive here through completely different paths, but each carrying momentum, pressure, and a whole lot of storyline heat. Belgium punched their ticket earlier on Wednesday with one of the wildest comebacks of the entire tournament. Down 2-0 to Senegal after 51 minutes, it looked like the Red Devils were heading home early. But then, everything flipped. Romelu Lukaku pulled one back in the 86th, Yuri Tielemans equalized in the 89th, and deep into stoppage time, Belgium won a penalty that Tielemans buried to complete a stunning turnaround. It was the kind of escape that changes a team's confidence heading into knockout football. The United States handled business against Bosnia and Herzegovina, but not without a setback. Folarin Balogun scored the winner, his 3rd goal of the tournament, before being sent off in the second half.
His suspension means the U.S. will be without their most productive striker for this round of 16 clash, forcing a major adjustment in their attack. There's also fresh history between these sides. Back in March, Belgium beat the USA convincingly in a friendly, scoring 3 times in the first 15 minutes of the second half after Weston McKennie had given the Americans a halftime lead. 5 Belgian starters from that match were in the lineup against Senegal, and 6 American starters from that day featured against Bosnia. One of those 6 was Balogun, who won't be available this time.
Belgium's attack has been carried by 2 players with 3 goal contributions each. Romelu Lukaku has only started once, but remains a constant threat off the bench, while Leandro Trossard has been Belgium's most consistent attacker. 2 goals, 1 assist, and 4 straight starts on the left wing. Meanwhile, Charles de Ketelaere and Jeremy Doku have yet to register a goal or assist, leaving Belgium heavily reliant on their veterans and Trossard's creativity. For the USA, the challenge is clear. Contain Belgium's late-game firepower, replace Balogun's presence up front, and avoid the kind of second-half collapse that defined their last meeting. For Belgium, the mission is to build on the momentum of their dramatic escape and lean on the players who've delivered when it matters most. 2 teams with history, 2 teams with completely different routes to this moment, and now 1 knockout match to decide who moves on.
Spain arrive in the round of 16 looking nothing like the team we saw in the group stage. They were steady, controlled, but never explosive, until the round of 32. Against Austria, everything finally clicked. The attack woke up, the midfield took over, and Spain rolled to a ruthless 3-0 win that honestly could have been 5 or 6. Mikel Oyarzabal was the headline again. 2 more goals, 4 in the tournament, and suddenly he's right in the middle of the Golden Boot race. But the real story isn't the scoring, it's the defending. 4 matches, 0 goals conceded. Spain's backline hasn't just been good, it's been suffocating. Austria didn't register a single shot on target. 5 attempts, all swallowed up. Spain controlled possession, controlled territory, controlled every second of the match.
Meanwhile, Portugal took the scenic route. Down 1-0 to Croatia with half an hour left, they were staring at elimination. Then Cristiano Ronaldo stepped up, buried a penalty, and kept Portugal alive with his first ever knockout stage goal. And in stoppage time, Gonçalo Ramos delivered the dagger, a dramatic 2-1 comeback that sent Portugal into the round of 16 for the 3rd straight World Cup. But Portugal's path hasn't been smooth. They didn't win their group. They scored only 6 goals in the group stage, tied for their fewest ever. They've been grinding, clawing, surviving. And now they face a knockout bracket that could turn brutal fast.
Spain versus Portugal. 2 Iberian giants meeting in Arlington on July 6th. One riding a perfect defensive record. One fueled by late-game heroics. One looking like a title contender. One trying to prove it still belongs among the elite. The winner moves on to face the survivor of USA versus Belgium. The loser goes home. This isn't just a round of 16 match. It's a rivalry, a collision of styles, a heavyweight tilt where only one keeps their World Cup alive.
Just hours apart, 2 very different stories unfolded. And now they collide. Argentina and Egypt both booked their places in the round of 16, but the paths they took couldn't have been more different.
Argentina came out of the group stage perfect. 3 wins from 3, top of their group and looking like the favorites they're expected to be. But their most recent match told a very different story. Against Cape Verde, a team making their World Cup debut, Argentina were dragged into a tense, exhausting battle that went all the way to extra time. And in the 111th minute, it wasn't a moment of brilliance. It was an own goal that finally pushed Argentina through. Cape Verde pressed them until the very last seconds. Argentina survived, but only just, reminding everyone that even giants can bleed. Egypt, meanwhile, were the first of the two teams to punch their ticket to this round. Their clash with Australia was a test of nerve, an early lead, a second-half equalizer, and then a penalty shootout that had every fan holding their breath. Egypt kept their composure, buried their spot kicks, and advanced. Their best World Cup campaign ever, surpassing the 1934 team that played just one match.
So now, it's Egypt versus Argentina. One side, a global powerhouse chasing another title. The other, a nation rewriting its football history, proving that belief can carry you further than anyone expects. So now, it's Egypt versus Argentina. One side, a global powerhouse chasing another title. The other, a nation rewriting its football history, proving that belief can carry you further than anyone expects.
Argentina have the pedigree. Egypt have the momentum. And when the whistle blows, it won't just be a match, it'll be a clash of legacy versus destiny. Switzerland and Colombia both arrive in the round of 16 after taking remarkably similar paths through the group stage. Steady, disciplined, and efficient. But their knockout stories couldn't be more different. Colombia topped Group F after beating Uzbekistan and DR Congo, then drawing with Portugal to finish first. That set up a clash with Ghana, where they delivered a solid 1-0 win. Controlled, professional, and built on their defensive strength. They've only conceded once all tournament, and their attack, led by Luis Diaz and James Rodriguez, has created more chances than almost anyone. Colombia's balance between creativity and composure makes them dangerous.
Switzerland, meanwhile, finished second in their group, but have looked sharp in front of goal. 7 scored, 3 conceded. Johan Manzambi and Briel Mbolo have been clinical, combining for 5 goals and 4 assists. They're not flashy, but they're efficient. 23 shots on target from 56 attempts, and a defense that rarely loses shape. Switzerland thrive on structure, and they'll need every bit of it against Colombia's pace and flair.
Statistically, this matchup is tight. Both have won half their games, both average similar fouls, and both rely on disciplined midfield control. But stylistically, it's a clash of rhythm. Switzerland's precision versus Colombia's improvisation. So now, it's Switzerland versus Colombia. Two teams that mirror each other in numbers, but not in style. One built on control, the other on creativity. And when the whistle blows, we'll find out which rhythm wins.
The round of 16 is where legends are made, and where dreams get shattered. 8 matches, 8 nations moving on, 8 nations going home. No matter what happens next, this tournament has already proven one thing. Nothing is predictable. And if the round of 32 was any sign, the chaos is just getting started. If you're enjoying these previews, hit subscribe so you don't miss the quarterfinal breakdown, the fan videos, and every twist this tournament throws at us. And drop a comment telling me which round of 16 match you're most excited for.